Hey, welcome back everyone, happy May the 4th, and ever since the release of Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker, a lot of fans around the world have been very curious about the future of the Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, currently as we speak, we do know that Disney and Lucasfilm has over 10 years worth of Star Wars projects in the works on Disney Plus alone. That's of course away from the theatrical releases like the movies, the new Star Wars trilogy is a great example there, and more. So if we take a look at the new Star Wars universe in general, both Disney and Lucasfilm, Bob Iger, Bob Chapek, they all have major plans for this new Star Wars universe that's really going to expand on the Skywalkers and brand new eras, a brand new mythology in general, if you will, that's really going to propel fans into a brand new era of Star Wars. And that's the most exciting thing, at least in my opinion, for this movie. Of course, with the new trilogy of films, the new movies, I should say, the new Star Wars TV series, is that it's going to go throughout different time periods. Now, the new universe in general, when we take a look at this, of course, it's going to hit its peak in 2021, which is where a lot of the content is really going to release. And then 2022 and so on and so forth is where it's really going to grow bigger and bigger every single year. Now, on top of all of this, what's really intriguing about the future of the Star Wars franchise between Bob Iger and Bob Chapek is, of course, their major plan to continue the Skywalker saga in several different ways. That's really going to be quite unique and unexpected for some of the Star Wars fans out there, where now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars trilogy of films as well as the new Star Wars universe. Now, it's explained that both Bob Iger and Bob Chapek are currently hard at work on developing a brand new Star Wars universe and a plan to reunite the fans around the world. As of now, both Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, and George Lucas are working closely together in order to create new Skywalker members for the universe that will be connected to the actual Skywalker bloodline. One of the big stories that are being developed in a story surrounding Luke Skywalker's son that will be brought into the new EU, and a story about the tragedy of Luke's wife and child that will be considered a major retcon for Luke Skywalker sometime in 2021. Now, it's explained that Lucasfilm plans to bring back the character of Ben Skywalker in a very unique way for fans to enjoy, where it's noted, however, that the character of Ben Skywalker will appear near similar as he did in the old EU, where Lucasfilm has a plan in place to rename Ben Skywalker to Leo Skywalker. It's explained that the Disney version of the extension of the Skywalker family, closest to Luke, is actually described to start with the letter L as a form of a parallel, given that Luke and Leia are twins, both names that start with L. Lucasfilm wants to do the same exact thing with Luke Skywalker's son, which is now dubbed as Leo Skywalker for the new EU. Now, it's explained that this was also used as a way to not confuse the audience between Ben Solo in the new canon and Ben Skywalker in the old canon universe of Star Wars, and to make the character more separate. Lucasfilm plans to tell new stories of Luke, Leia, and Leo in the new expanded universe in 2021 and 2022 in the forms of books, novels, and comics, and even TV shows perhaps, to some extent on Disney Plus, that will expand the Skywalker bloodline. Now, this plan comes from Bob Chapek in order to ensure that the Star Wars franchise can thrive off of the Skywalker name and repeat history somewhat like the old expanded universe did. Now, the character of Leo Skywalker is said to be based in a story around 10 to 12 years after the events of Return of the Jedi. So, what's really interesting to me about this is that this is a major retcon for Luke, and we talked about this lightly a couple of weeks ago, about Lucasfilm having a plan in place to introduce a new Skywalker family member in a post-Episode 9 era, and of course in a pre-sequel trilogy era. So we have this new era that's going to be based in between the sequels and the originals, that's going to explore the reincarnation, if you will, of Ben Skywalker. It's going to be their own version of it. So it's going to appear like Ben, but it's going to have a different name. That's their way of not confusing fans between the two Bens in the Star Wars universe. So, like I've said before in the past, when we examine what Dave Filoni, George, and Jon Favreau are trying to do, is that they're really trying to establish a lot of Legends content to become canon once more. And I think that's a smart move. I think it's pretty safe to say that a lot of fans may very well respect this idea. The major thing that I think a lot of fans are going to disagree with, including myself, is the fact that it's going to explore more so the tragedy of Luke's son. What happens to him? You know, how does he die? Obviously, they have to tie this in with the movies and explain as to why there is no other Skywalker in the sequel trilogy movies. They're going to be explaining the tragedy of Luke's family, which could very well give us a little bit more character development on why Luke is who he is in the sequels. Do I think it's necessarily going to fix or change how we view The Last Jedi in a more positive sense? I'm not quite sure about that. But like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.